Patriots making moves tonight. The team released defensive end Cassius Marsh. The Pats traded for Marsh. They got him from the Seahawks at the start of the season in exchange for a 5th and 7th round pick. Marsh had seen his playing time reduced to just 2 snaps against the Raiders. The 25-year-old took to Twitter to say his goodbyes. Blessings come in many forms. Thank you for the opportunity, Patriots. The Pats signed defensive end Eric Lee off the Bills practice squad to fill the roster spots.
Keeping an eye on all of that. Welcome to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. All's quiet on this Tuesday on the Boston pro sports front.
Yeah, from a game standpoint, but a lot to talk about this evening. And we'll start with the Bruins. 2 major storylines: injuries, which has been the case all season long, and the goaltending situation.
2nd and 13 now for the Patriots. Backed up to the 15. Brady's in the gun. Burkhead in the lineup to the left of the quarterback. Takes the snap. Bounces in the pocket. As he throws left. Touchdown. Yeah! Rob Gronkowski. His second of the day.
In your face. Please keep blitzing our quarterback. Nobody in this league ever learns. And the Dolphins are fighting amongst themselves right now.
Yeah, blitzing Brady and leaving Gronk uncovered, not a recipe to beat the Patriots. Welcome to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. We got a busy Sunday for you. Bruins looking to extend their win streak to 5 with Tuukka Rask returning between the pipes. We'll take you to the Garden, but first, more on the Patriots win over Miami. Wiggy in the building with Mark James.
Welcome to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. We've got the latest Bruins news queued up, as well as a NESN Express around the NFL. But we start with your favorite NFL team first. Mark, Wiggy, and Chatham standing by. Yeah. Let's look outside the division, all aboard the NESN Express. Get your tickets ready. Seriously, Redskins at Saints. Choo-choo is right. Redskins on top, 31-23. Drew Brees hooks up with Alvin Kamara. How about this celebration? That's not like driving a car.
That's like the Lambeau Leap.
He's getting out of there, right?
It's in New Orleans.
And they score here on the 2-point conversion as well. What a weird game this was. Redskins dominated this thing at one point. They were way out of it, and then New Orleans comes storming back, keeps that flow going.
Saints would win that one, 34-31, improving to 8-2. How about Vikings' big win today? Case Keenum.
This was a good game. I thought initially the Rams went down on their first possession, touchdown 7-0. I'm like, okay, we got a ball game here. But then the Vikings, their defense is good, man.
24-7, Minnesota takes that one. I still like LA Rams. Like, that's so weird to my eyeballs. All right, Chiefs at Giants.
Great catch. I saw this live in action.
Huge Roger Lewis 4th down.
What a scintillating game. Was that 9-9? Was it 9-9 when this happened in overtime?
That is pretty. That is pretty and sad, depending on who, which team you're rooting for.
These Chiefs have really fallen off, though, guys. This is not the team that we were dealing with back in September.
G-Men win in overtime, 12-9 the final.
There's no Sunday like an NFL Sunday. The Patriots road trip culminating south of the border in Mexico City versus the Oakland Raiders, joined right now by 2 guys who have a combined 4 Super Bowl rings, Matt Chatham and Jermaine Wiggins.
Hola.
Yeah, 0 for me. Patriots playing the Raiders at Estadio Azteca. First quarter, Tom Brady doing what he does. Throws a pass right here to Dion Lewis, who jukes every Raiders defender, like 3 of them. Touchdown Patriots, 7-0 early.
Best part of that for me, Mark, is that pump fake. He's got guys falling on the ground.
Right. Later in the quarter, Brady, red zone again, tiptoes around. Oh, look who's in the back of the end zone. Danny Amendola, wide open.
Yeah, I don't get that. You see Brady signal and pre-snap. It's just, how do you let a guy run free at the back end line?
Now the Raiders go to try to score here. Derek Carr to Seth Roberts, but Marquise Flowers punches the ball out. Raiders fumble guys inside the 3-yard line as they're going in.
All these little extra additions that they put on the roster, Patamosi, Flowers there, a lot of these guys showing up big.
End of the first half, Steven Gostkowski goes for a 62-yard field goal, and it's good. He drills it. Patriots score inside of 2 minutes in the first half for the 7th consecutive time. 17-0 lead at the break. First possession of the second half. Tom Brady, he just makes it look too easy. He's getting surgical with this, like Alonzo in training data. Brandon Cook, 65 yards, 24-0 after the kick. The Patriots in this one, guys, they look like they're Dean's List students at MIT. The Raiders look like they're at Springfield Technical Community College. Belichick and Brady win it. Belichick wins his 271st career game, moving him past Tom Landry for the third most wins in NFL history, 33-8. Let's go back down to Mexico City to get a wrap from Boston 25's Butch Stearns. New England sports teams are no strangers to international competition, especially when it comes to success outside the U.S.
Like today's Patriots win over the Raiders in Mexico City, for instance. These athletes, they make the most of their time abroad. In the Pats' case, thanks mostly to Gronk, because he's extremely knowledgeable and knows all of the essential Spanish phrases.
My old message, yo soy fiesta, baby. All right, guys.
The Patriots aren't the first Boston sports team to try to assimilate to a culture different than their own.
Well, you know, first I want to thank to my agent, Alex Cora. He was the one who brought me here. And
without him, you wouldn't be here today?
Without him, I wouldn't be here today.
In 2008, fresh off a World Series championship, the Red Sox traveled to Japan to take on the A's for the first 2 games of their season. The Sox earned a split in front of a packed Tokyo Dome.
It's going to be a great experience because we're all going to be out there in a foreign country.
The Celtics won a title in the first year of their new Big Three based on a concept of Ubuntu, an African word for togetherness. That was born on a European training camp trip in 2007.
Can I hold? Yeah?
Before making a historic Stanley Cup run in the 2010-11 season, the Bruins opened their year by playing the Coyotes in Prague.
You know, not too much. Just look around, show the guys the downtown a little bit, what is it about, and that's about it, I guess.
The trip began in Belfast, where the Bruins were welcomed with open arms in Northern Ireland.
It's excellent for us to welcome the Boston Bruins and their entourage to our city.
It's amazing seeing Alex Cora back there next to Manny. Now he's the manager of the Red Sox.
I love that.
You know?
All full circle, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, not full circle, but the fun never ends here on NSG, NESN Sports Today. So we're coming back after this.
Following Friday's practice, head coach Bruce Cassidy announced that they will be splitting the goaltenders on this upcoming trip, as Tuukka Rask will get the start in net against the Philadelphia Flyers on a Saturday afternoon, and then Anton Khudobin will get the nod between the pipes on Monday versus the Nashville Predators.
Dobie, we don't want to sit too long. We've kind of documented why we went with Tuukka and not Dobie consecutively there, and we'll see how it works out this weekend. So one start each, and then we'll reassess on next week.
Well, this upcoming trip to Philadelphia and Nashville will also be the dad's trip. And head coach Bruce Cassidy said on a Friday that this is awesome. And he said that whoever created this certainly needs a pat on the back.
You know, hopefully the guys put their best foot forward for their dads. I think it's a great acknowledgement of the time, probably the effort, support they've put into their children's success. I mean, you can't get there without that. So
This is the first dad's trip he's going to be on in 11 years I've been here, so this is pretty exciting. He's excited to be here. Obviously, he came a long way just to experience these next few days, so looking forward to it.
Well, here's the tale of the tape this season between Tuukka and Khudobin. Tuukka had the big win Wednesday night over the best team in the NHL this season, the Lightning. Well, Mr. Khudobin, Dobie, as Coach Cassidy likes to call him, is undefeated this season at 7-0-2.
When a team can wheel out 5 guys who went in the top 5 of their respective entry drafts, you know they're going to be fast and they're also going to be skilled. When they can also bring out guys like Zach Kassian and Milan Lucic, you know they're going to play heavy. That's why Edmonton was sort of a boutique favorite to win the West this year. And thud, the Oilers have really struggled all season long, but they brought a lot of that against the Bruins. Did the Bruins allow them to do that, or did Edmonton just play this kind of style that it's capable of playing?
It sure looked like Edmonton had that we're sick of losing attitude, you know, just one win in their last 4 or 5 games and not playing great team defense. And I thought they took a conservative approach in the neutral zone, so they didn't give up any rushes to Boston and allow Boston to find their rhythm to their offense, certainly through the neutral zone. But, yeah, Jack, I'm going to put it more on the Bruins and their inability to find their skating game. If you can't find your skating game against a team like Edmonton, whether they're playing their A game or not, you're not going to have an advantage. But the frustration continues in net. net for Tuukka Rask. You know, that was the storyline coming into this, given the fact that Anton Khudobin had riding a hot streak. The Bruins have been banking a lot of points with Khudobin in the net. They needed to go back to Rask at some point, and against the Oilers was an opportunity for the Bruins to play well in front of them. But again, the inconsistency in the Bruins play as a team in front of Tuukka Rask continued. You know, when that happens, Jack, you have to be absolutely perfect. Every shot matters, and you can feel that pressure. And again, it doesn't go Tuukka's way. He needs a victory of some sort. You take a look at the game winner, and the Bruins are back. They're defending. Not only do they have 3 bodies, maybe even a 4th as far as the back check's concerned, and it's just not good enough in a game that it needed to be good enough if you were going to continue winning streak.
Well, you remember Jordan Eberle. He's now a member of the Islanders, and that's why Ryan Strome, also one of those high draft choices, is a member of the Edmonton Oilers. And you let a guy have a chance like that with a chance to win the game, and that's why the Bruins came up short.
Well, get excited, ladies and gentlemen, because the holiday shopping season is here. All right, and like many of us, the Patriots are always in search of the best deal.
Well, Casey McDonald and Super Bowl champion Jermaine Wiggins break down some of those deals the Patriots may have made this season.
It's the best time of the year. The holiday season is upon us. Wiggy is joining us here, and everyone's looking for good deals. I mean, all year round, but right now especially. So Wiggy's going to help us decide whether or not some of maybe the Patriots deals were good deals this year. Let's start out with the big offseason acquisition in Stephon Gilmore. You got 5 years, $65 million, 10 games into the season. Good deal or bad deal?
Right now, they're probably looking at, we're going to hold on to the receipt for this one because right now it's not really panning out for them. I know he's played well in the past couple of games, but as of right now, if you're going to look at what he's done in these first 10 games, not really a great deal. Pats are going to, like I said, they're going to keep that receipt in the pocket just in case they got to return Stephon Gilmore. But as of right now, it's probably not a good deal.
Oh, I guess it doesn't say $65 million on there if it's a return receipt, right?
No,
all right.
Let's say that.
As a result of signing Stephon Gilmore, fellow cornerback Malcolm Butler signing a 1-year tender to stay in New England. Good deal or bad deal?
Well, I think it's a good deal for them because when you look at they were able to get him at about $4 million and some change, you know, and ultimately, you know, he's playing well. He struggled a little bit early in the season. Good deal for them because they got him on a nice price tag. Ultimately, they're going to lose this guy moving forward. So long term, it's going to be a bad deal. And it'll be good moving forward for him because he'll get the money that he deserves. Because when you look at Malcolm Butler, I think this guy is a tremendous player. He does a lot of things. He's a guy in the league that can play man-to-man coverage. So when you look at the Pats, it's another one of those things. You look at it as a good deal.
People were waiting for it to happen, the Jimmy Garoppolo shoot-a-drop, if you will, sending him to San Francisco for a second-round pick next year. Good deal or bad deal? I'm
going to say it was a bad deal because you probably could have got a little bit more for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would have liked to see them move him, you know, around the draft time. They could have maybe got more for him. But ultimately, you know, they felt like, hey, listen, we know Brady's not going anywhere. Brady's going to be the guy for us, and we got to get something for Jimmy Garoppolo because after the season, they probably would have got less. So, and you look at the situation that they're in right now, it wasn't the greatest deal that they made.
You talked about Tom Brady. Before that deal, they sent Jacoby Brissett to the Colts for wide receiver Philip Dorsett. He would be the backup right now if he was still in town. Good deal or bad deal? I'm
going to say good deal because when you look at it, like if he's the backup, what? There's no difference between him and Brian Hoyer. He's not on the field. He's not going to play. Tom Brady's the guy. And at least you got Philip Dorsett out of it. Now, granted, you know, he hasn't made a ton of plays, but at least he gives you something. When you look at what Jacoby Brissett was, he's basically just sitting there holding the clipboard if he's still here in New England. So
it's not a bad job. Yeah. Really not. Finally, the proposed contract extension, shifting gears, wider scope for Roger Goodell. $50 million a year plus lifetime insurance for his family and a jet for life.
Right.
I mean, seriously, good deal or bad deal?
I'm going to say that is a tremendous deal. I don't even know.
For him.
Yeah, I don't even know why I played football. Looking back at it now, if I would have known that this is what the commissioner had to do for the NFL, I would have never even played. I would have said, how can I become a commissioner? Kids at home, I know you want to be the next Tom Brady, but you should have a poster on your wall and say, I want to be the next Roger Goodell, because to make that type of money, he makes more than the face of the NFL. And you know, a lot of people don't know who he is. Imagine that. And he wants a jet to top it off.
So I'm going to take
I take the $50 million, no jet, no insurance. I'm good.
So it's bad for the league, good for Roger Goodell.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kids, don't be doctors, don't be astronauts, be commissioners.
There you go.
Wiggy, thank you so much.
Yep.
Well, rivalry is when two prominent teams beat each other every year for this thing called balance. Well, Well, that's the antithesis of Patriot Dolphins, as New England is 11-3 versus Miami since 2010.
Yeah, it's looking good for the Pats right now in the midst of a 6-game win streak, playing their best football of the year. As for keys to a victory tomorrow, take it away, Matt Chatham.
The first thing I'll be looking for this Sunday when the Patriots take on the Dolphins here in Foxborough, and something I think you'll be looking for as well, is does Tom Brady have the clean porch that we always talk about? Keeping the area in front of the quarterback clean so he can step into throws. It's especially important this week, obviously, because of Ndamukong Suh, one of the best gap busters on the inside, who could potentially be there in his lap. Good work by Shaq Mason and Joe Thuney at either the two guard spots, working with the center, Ted Karras, to keep it tight there so that Tom is able to step into throws. The second thing I'll be looking for is keeping that Dolphins run game down. It's got to be low. It can't be a big part of this game, or you create new problems for the Patriots defense. We know Jay Ajayi is down the road now with the Philadelphia Eagles, not a part of that Dolphins offense, and that changes a lot of things in the way you approach him. They tried to get the young guy Damian Williams more involved. Kenyon Drake, he's more the pass-catching back, but it hasn't been a prolific part of their offense, and they are hungry for balance. You cannot open that door and allow any run game production, because that's when the passing game becomes a little bit more legitimate. The final thing I'll be looking for, and it ties in very much to number 2, is preventing the big plays in the passing game. If you've got that run game held down, then it prevents some of this stuff off play action from becoming more real. And they've got some players. Kenny Stills, a guy that's usually their third wide receiver, but had some very productive games in the last few weeks. He can be a game breaker. Devontae Parker has missed part of the season with injury, one of the most explosive players they have, a big down the field kind of guy who can make plays. And we know Jarvis Landry, one of the toughest guys at the wide receiver position in the NFL, can make plays in the red zone, catch and run really all over the football field. Stay on top of those guys, play them top down, and you can prevent any of this from becoming a problem.
Sparkly and just made you want to get up and dance. All right, Kyrie on fire, and he's got a heart of gold to boot. Check this out. A boy named Gabriel, he was in attendance at last night's game against the Mavs. He was diagnosed with brain cancer last year and may only have a few months left. His big brother tweeted to try to get Gabriel's favorite player, Kyrie, to meet up with him. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but this did. Kyrie sent up a signed pair of his sneakers after the game. Love that. All right, time now to take a look at the Boston Celtics by the numbers. The first number is 1, as in ranked number 1 in the NBA in opponents' points per game allowed. Big comebacks coming in handy as of late. Head coach Brad Stevens was asked how the C's keep pulling off said comebacks. His answer, because we're always behind. Okay, keep it going, I guess. Plot twist, 2 numbers for you now. The next numbers are 36 and 34. Kyrie Irving has outscored opponents 36-34 in the final 5 minutes of regulation and overtime over the past 3 games. My word, could it be a new king in the fourth? We will see. All right, I'll follow the rules for the final number, 24. That's what you get when you combine the Celtics' 16-game win streak with the Patriots' 6-game win streak, and then you tack on the Bruins' 2-game win streak. We'll take it. Longest streak, though, in Celtic team history, 19 games. So if they look to match that, they'll have to not only take the Heat, but also back-to-back wins by taking down the Magic in a Black Friday special and the Pacers Saturday. Pistons, Sixers, Suns to follow. All of those games at home.
That was a huge turtleneck, like really big. By the way, on Saturday, the Celtics, this is really big too, becomes the first team to 20 wins this season. Took them 24 games to get there, matching their start in the 2010-2011 campaign. And while some around the basketball world are surprised, Kyrie did say after the game, he is not. A man who knows a lot more about this than, well, you and me. That would be Red Sox team historian Gordon Eads. So let's run through some of these guys on this list, starting with Derek Lowe. His time in Boston, so many memories, countless memories. What comes to mind for you?
Well, you know, one of the great things, Emerson, is I get to cover all 3 of these guys in my previous incarnation as a sports writer for the Globe and ESPN. And of course, Derek Lowe became part of one of the great trades in Red Sox history and arguably baseball history. You know, he and a catcher by the name of Jason Varitek come over to Boston.
Another Red Sox Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for a closer who had lost his capacity for closing, Heathcliff Slocum. And Derek Lowe left an enormous impact on this team, both as a closer, a 40-save guy, and as a starter, 20-game winner through a no-hitter in 2002. And my enduring memory of Derek Lowe came on the cusp of the 2004 playoffs when he'd fallen out of favor a little bit with manager Terry Francona. And I never forget sitting in the dugout with Derek. He was down in the mouth. He thought he was like the 11th pitcher on an 11-man pitching staff, that he wasn't going to have any role whatsoever in the postseason. And so what does he do? Pitches and wins a clinching game in the division series against the Angels. Pitches and wins a clinching game against the Yankees in Game 7 of the ALCS. And pitches and wins the clinching game of the 2004 World Series against the Cardinals. Only pitcher in Major League history who can say that.
How about Kevin Youkilis? Where does he stand on best corner infielders in team history?
Well, that's a great question because, of course, Youkilis broke in with the Red Sox as a third baseman and made the transition over to first base because of the acquisition of our other Red Sox Hall of Famer, Mike Lowell, who was a Gold Glove third baseman. And what does Uke do? He goes across the diamond and makes that transition seamlessly to the point where he holds records, for consecutive games without it making an error. Highest fielding percentage by an American League first baseman, breaking the record held by a long ago Red Sox first baseman by the name of Stuffy McInnis. I think in some ways it may have added some time to Uke's career. He probably was sorry when he had to go back to third base when we got Adrian Gonzalez. But again, it speaks to Uke's sense of team concept that he made those switches without complaint and made the most of it. So where does he rank? I'd say you could make a case that he was the best fielding first baseman in Red Sox history.
And the man he had to move across the diamond for, Mike Lowell, you mentioned, he's another member of this class. What was his role in changing the culture of this organization?
That's a great question. And it's striking that he would have played such a big role for a guy who, on the face of it, was a, quote, throw-in to the Josh Beckett, Hanley Ramirez trade that the Red Sox made with the Marlins prior to the 2006 season. Mike, because he's bilingual, originally of Cuban descent, all of that, was one of those guys who could break through any clique in a clubhouse. Very thoughtful guy. He was a go-to guy for the media. He was very even-keeled guy, and yet a guy that had great expectations for both himself and for his teammates. Really stepped up his game in 2007. The Marlins kind of thought he was at the end of the line with them. And, I mean, in 2007, he hits 320 plus for the Red Sox with 20 plus bombs and all, then ends up being World Series MVP. He had a lot to do. He was one of those guys that Terry Francona leaned on in the clubhouse to deliver Francona's message to the players.
Cool. Well, looking forward to seeing this entire class honored on May 24th, the Red Sox Foundation Gala in downtown Boston. Gordon Needs, there's no man better who knows more about the history of this team. Thanks for your time.
You got it.
Sports is a cruel business. This isn't a Hallmark fairy tale Disney ending to the end of it, but for a guy who won 2 Super Bowls for that franchise and epitomized what it was like to be a New York Giant, to treat him that way is absolutely blasphemous, disrespectful, and preposterous.
Hey, Geno Smith is the future in New York. But how about this, though? Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jacoby Brissett, all 3 of them starting for an NFL team this weekend.
That's amazing.
Who would have thought that back in the summer?
Right. Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Not Ryan Mallett, though, but those 3 are pretty good.
I love that. Great generation. Good stuff by all the
no question.
Teams.
Busy day tomorrow. No games tonight, but busy day tomorrow. We got the Bruins in Jersey wrapping up their 4-game road trip. No Brad Marchand again, so obviously they've been shorthanded, and the Celtics looking to continue their win streak in Miami.
In Miami, oh gosh, everyone probably traveled for Thanksgiving today, so they could sit on their couch and watch tomorrow. But
That's true.
It's going to be good. Yeah, looking for number 17
Yeah, and again, the franchise record is 19. They get a real legit shot at that, considering what the schedule is moving forward. But you just never know. I mean,
Right.
Miami could be tough. Like Dallas was unexpectedly
Right.
tough. So Brad Stevens says, we should stop playing from behind, maybe jump
Right.
out to a lead. So we'll see how it plays out.